Hello, Supreme Commanders who forge alliances forever. It's already week 3 here of 2023. Can't believe that. And the pros have only gone and loaded up Setons map. Average 1723 rated this one. 4v4 starring JT Excelsior Vinyl 117. Terrari Cascade. Put out Spiky Noob and Nancy ... for the algo boy. Game going down just as I was looking for something to cast, so same time, just an hour or so ago actually. Falling into the 30 to 45 minute region for those of you wondering how long it's going to be. Going on my first night away this year tomorrow, so you can all have a day off. That being said, mixing YouTube content. Now I know mixing YouTube content is actually really bad for the algorithm and so on, but you know what? I already have a YouTube channel that is stuck on one particular piece of content, and so this was kind of my channel to do everything else on. And I have created playlists, so if you're only into your Forged Line stuff, and I get it, I would be too, then just click on the Forged Lines playlist and, just ignore everything else. That being said, enough waffle. Let's come on into the game, see what's going to go down. As we know, the world's getting crazier and crazier outside of the window, so let's open up the screen mirror here and get stuck on into this virtual space instead. Alrighty then, let's unpause the game, get rid of the music somewhat and see what's going to go down. Kaboom! Alright, starting up top, Team 1 in the air position. It's Spiky Noob who's going in as Cybran. This guy pro rated, no doubt about it, clocking in at 2000 rated. And no, I can't do it in this slot if you strap me. I wonder what you said. Okay, so private chat there. Spiky Noob to Excelsior. And Excelsior over here playing beach. So I wonder why Spiky Noob is private messaging somebody on the opposing team. Never mind, we'll have to see. And he's first land. Coming towards the west, then his beach player here. Wow, there's a ton of chats going down today. It's Cascade by Lux. He's going Seraphim playing beach, of course. Very nice with the floaty artsy there. And then on the front side for Team 2, it's Put Out also going Aeon. He's rated 1600. And in case I missed it there for Cascade, he was 1700 rated. And then down finally on the south side of for Team 1 playing the cliff position, we've got I'm just going to call him Nancy, just, for security purposes. And he's going Aeon, also in at 1600 rated there in the, I guess we'll call it the baby blue. All right, over then onto the south side, Team 2 in rearguard slot. It's Terrari, and he's UEF, 2100 rated, the highest rated player in the game by 100 rating points or so. Not too often you see UEF in the rear. With air, it's usually going to be Seraphim, Aeon, Cybran, depends on what kind of your strat is. I'd say, yeah, UEF certainly the least likely to appear. That said, although they've got no real special abilities when it comes to air, they can't pull stealth or anything, they do got relatively strong ASF and, of course, access to the drone kennels. Meanwhile, then over to his east on the beach, and he's already looking like it's making a move. It's Excelsior, he appearing in many casts as well. It's 1900 rated, so another very high rated player there. Of course, going Aeon first land, getting his Cormex, rushing the Hydro, and what seems to be standard meta now, the two middle ACUs and what looks like beach. And indeed, yeah, we see their Cascade doing the same thing. So very obviously a meta that who knows exactly when that sprung up. In the front here, it's JT Cybran and doing the odd double fact trick. Let's see what that's done to his eco. Well, there's your answer. He's right on the stall line, and he's got one entry trying to get a Mex. He's already got one mech, so that's the second mech. He's got one NG up here who's so far banked 2 Nightcall 300E. And yeah, without that, he would have stalled, no doubt about it. His second mech's about to go on. That's going to be massive. Now, if he can keep these two reclaiming, that's going to fund his E. He's got 2 down here working on the hydro. This may actually be the way to go. Clearly, you can't waste your time even so much as putting down a solitary power gen, because 1 power gen after 2 of these is going to completely screw you over eco-wise. You need your NGs out reclaiming the clumps like he's doing, and looks like he can make that pay. And yeah, and so with that player done, what's that? Not Excelsior, JT there, very nice to see, of course, 1500 rated. And I'm wondering, is this tactic being used more and more? No, certainly not from his opponent, Putout, who is clocked in at 16. And yeah, meanwhile, okay, so feeling a little neglected here. It's Vinyl 117 from the BBC. The less said about that, the better. I mean, BBC, right? Hopefully, nothing to do with the British Bull S Cup, because, you know, that's all that they're full of. He also going UEF Perp. Looks like landing air. ACU staying there so he can make max use of the resources. And if we hold shift, indeed he do. He's got an NG on manual reclaim. Running up the side here. Rock, rock, tree. And I'm guessing if we move over here. Rock, 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 rock. No surprises there. And we'll have to see if he's able to cap that island. Looks like it's the priority. Coming over here is Beach on top side making a move. And alas, not. He's not even got his air FAC out yet. And so I don't think there's any risk whatsoever there. That is going over to its rightful player, Vinyl 117. How are we looking in the south side? Well, still just land here. So quite a slow expansion there from Nancy. Still just with the single factory. Meanwhile, Beach slot down here already got an air. So what that means is potentially a contested island on the south side. However, not so on the top side. I do wonder, I know Rock Player has got a ton more mechs just anyway, but I'm wondering if Rock Player lost his expansion and the Beach got it, would that even out the mechs? Perhaps someone can let us know in the comments. I'm not sure. With that done, it's a bit of a boy racer tune that, I'm not sure. So hopefully a little quite quiet here. So Excelsior now bringing back a T1 bomber to go after a Tech 1 scout. Perhaps an expensive way to deal with a rushed bomber. You know, if you rush out a bomber like that at minute 3, you send it out and then you bring it back to chase a single scout. I'm not sure that scout, you know, I just don't see. We've got another scout over here. Of course, as we saw the other day, they are capable of tickling an engineer to death. And the other day I did see a scout, I think it was a UF scout, kill a Cyber engineer. Well, either way, it was a Tech 1 engineer, but the scout finally tickling him away there. And here we go now, some action in the front. I like what I'm seeing here, the RT units with the ACU. RT units are incredibly lethal against an ACU that decides to just park up and start reclaiming. The problem is, if Put Out can get even a solitary lab round the back, one lab can mop up this RT. You know, they're very effective at killing. Here we see now Put Out going on the wrong side, and he's losing a lot of health to this RT. He's got to start dancing or thinking of some sort of change. He does manage to pick off a cheeky NG that's trying to reclaim. I still don't get what's going on here. He's just walking into a line of RT. You've got your Beach player here, so it's pretty much 2v1. He's trying to get out to the side. This a terrible play here from Put Out. I do wonder, was he distracted or was, you know, somebody on the phone? I don't know. He's 2v1. Boy, this is one of the quickest ejections I've ever seen on Setons. Surely a misclick. Put Out there going out. Minute 5:07. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen a player die quicker ever on this game. Put Out. Surely a misclick. Team 1, a player down. It goes briefly to Spiky Noob. He elects it to hand it over to Cascade. So the 1700 Seraphim player takes it, which kind of makes sense. His ACU's up front anyhow. And grabbing the mass as he can. Is there any mass left there? Obviously when ACU goes pop, it does damage an awful lot of the nearby mass. And here you can see it. If we take a look at the wrecks here, we see they're down to roughly 101 mass. If we take a look at the equivalents over here, we can see some of those are still 200. So ACU is shaving some mass, and of course in the immediate blast radius, it'll have destroyed the mass altogether. Of course, we've still got 2 ACUs down here for Team 2. One of them assisting the other now getting a gun, and that's flying on pretty quick. The weaker ACU, I imagine then, is going to pull back slightly and let the gun hold the line. Potentially get some upgrade itself. No surprise here. Island going to its rightful belonging here over there to Vinyl 117 on the western side. And Nancy able to collect it. Did he seriously send 1NG over there, distance build on the island, get the factory up and manage to take over the island? That is a crime. No excuse for Excelsior, not that higher rated player as well. It looks like he made zero effort for that island. A single NG trundling all the way down should be easy pickings. He obviously made zero effort, zero intel for that. And 2v1 now down the mid from Team 2. Cascade in the spot of bother. Seraphim ACU got plenty of hit points on him, but he is 2v1. He's getting overcharges in. That said, oh, Mercy's coming in. Boom! JT gets taken out, and thanks to the mercies there from Nancy, leveling off. So I assume it was Nancy because he's of course the A on there. Leveling it off there, 3-all. And if there was any mass still in the middle, well, there's maybe going to be a dot here and here. But after those 2 ACUs going pop inside the 7th minute. Wow. Make mercies. Lots of chat going down, as you'd expect on this sort of game. Lots of chaos. The front lines, although looking at the map at a glance, look perfectly where they should be. It's extremely chaotic, fluid and dynamic down the mid. Gunships versus interceptors. Well, that's only ever going to go one way. Team 1, you best get some air down here, because otherwise all of this is going to be for naught. And indeed, with a Tech 2 gunship going down there, for naught it is. Team 1 now following it up with a few inties, but too little too late. Well, the thing that could have done the damage is taken out. There's one more gunship coming through. It seems to be 4-on-4 on the interceptor game. Now 3v4, now 3v3, now 3v2, now 3v1. T2 Spectre, what's his job now? Surely he's not just going down there to pick off a couple of T1 mexes. Well, maybe he is. He carries on the move. We got some primary coming in from Excelsior here. I thought he was going to go after it, but alas not. Yet he just got the numbers to chase it. Surely this guy's role is not just to pick off T1 mexes. 1-on-1 in the south side here. Couple of frigates going after one another, and that one going towards Nancy. Of course, these early little engagements were just a single unit here and there. 1-on-1, 1-on-2, 2-on-1, that kind of stuff. While they seem almost pointless, early on, they're huge, because, you know, if you can win and have 1 or 2 units in an area and your opponent's got 0, you basically control that with 100% supremacy. Even though they're weak units, it's 100%. And yeah, what we got going on here. Tinfoil taking on frigates and not doing a bad job. And also taking on triple air emplacements. So yeah. Aurora's here. Now this frigate, it's got 7 kills so far. It's got to back off. It does get an 8th. And I think he's going to get out of harm's way. He gets 9. That's a nice frigate. 9 kills. Granted, they're just Auroras, but, you know, it's 9... You know, it's 9 Auroras that are taking out the game on the 10th minute. Not bad at all. Looks like we're getting a gun here from Cascade. And how's going down here? Excelsior, Control Canes, some of the shite in the rear that no doubt is going to reclaim. I just wonder, actually, how much does that pay? 194 mass per FAF. So, you know, he's giving himself just over 1,000 mass by knocking those few factories out. About enough to upgrade a couple of Tech 1 mechs. Or whatever it is he happens to do. His ACU here trundling back. I'm surprised. Is he actually aiming to pull out? He is all the way. I'm kind of surprised. Maybe he was nervous with those Mercies incoming. He saw the enemy with a couple of ASF in the area and thought, sod this, I'm off. Of course, all that you need is a couple of Tech 1 mobile AAA, something like that, and you'd be fine. If Mercy's got no health at all, right? It's just, if it gets sneezed on, it's dead. Problem is, if it gets all the way through without being sneezed on, you're dead. So, you know, there is that. But I can only assume if he hadn't seen the Mercies, he'd still be here. I don't see the reason why he would leave the front wide open with a handful of units. When I used to play front, I was always UEF. I was always big on rushing the T3 ACU. It led some players to, again, because I was always, you know, I was a real good front player, right? And some players thought I was lucky, you know, because, oh, I've never met a player as lucky as you. And I genuinely thought, you know, you make your own luck in this game. You know, it can be lucky once, twice, 5 times. But when you play 1,000 games and you win 600 or 700, and of course, you know, I'm talking team, right? I almost always won the mid because, again, it was like I like to play mid and I was real good at it. I like to push through to the opposing guys what would be their starting position and set up shop. And again, T3 ACU can build real quick. You get your T3 missiles and you just fire a few off. And it was a fantastic way of playing. Now, granted, they could rush some sort of Tech 2 air snipe or even a T3 Monkey Lord if, you know, nobody was going Navy. Or they could squeeze you in. But if the Navies were squeezing you in, and of course, it happened, right? T3 UEF ACU can hold its own in the middle versus Navy for quite a while. Simply because at the speed you can build shields. You can put Ravagers down RT, obviously you've got your T2. And yeah, you know, it's a nice viable thing. I was never one to run away. Again, I use my ACU like I meant it. And you know, if my ACU was to go down, the game was already lost for the team. Little bit static, actually. Kind of surprised at this stage because we've got very high level players. We're coming up to level 14. There doesn't seem to be any much action down in the south side. I used to see a load of frigate spam. And it looks like we already got one Tech 2 in the pond there from Nancy. And north side. It looks like we're still at the T1 stage up there for Cascade. What about down here? Make cruiser for bomber. Okay, so we do got a T2 yard there. And is that the top priority? Actually can't tell. Used to seeing the... Oh, there's the strat bomb. Oh, and it was a destroyer, not a cruiser. How unfortunate. If he had built the cruiser like somebody had asked him, it's possible he was asked afterwards. Had to pick that up. Now, unfortunately, that is going to cost Team 2 their entire air, but they did manage to pick off the strat. The air that you see here belongs to Spiky Noob. 2 spy planes, 22 ASF, and that's it. Team 2 down here looks like 2 or 3 ASF, but that's, yeah. So Air on the 15th minute comfortably in Team 1's hands. We'll have to see if they can make use to it. We see here Vinyl with at least 2 mechs missing. Did the strap bomb go 1-2 and then die? I guess it must have done. There can't have been anything else. A shed load of chat. Every game he gets rolled when they have Nancy. He gets to AFK. The shit stirring starts. Come on, Terrier, you're the one that's 100 points ahead. I mean, let's have a little look. Turn that down. Is that another strat coming in? I heard one somewhere. Indeed it is. Spiky Noob taking advantage of his Air Supreme, which he absolutely should. Now look at this. Perfect. We've got a Sam down here already with a kill. That is going to provide a little area of denial. Yeah, look at this multi-chaining. Strong player there picking on the weakest enemy, and that is some real nice pickups there. Bong, bong, bong. Capped off mechs. Vinyl's got to be feeling it, and he's got to wish now that he did get that cruiser out. And here is the cruiser. Fantastic. Cruiser Sam. And looks like he's going to get it. It's going to be close. Can he get enough missiles out? Oh! 100 hit points. He's desperately... Oh my goodness. Spiky Noob hover bombing the strap bomb. Gets a single ASF in there, and that is enough. Strap going down. Ouch. Vinyl's got to be feeling the pain there. That said though, Vinyl is putting a couple of torque bombs out on Tech 2. But I think with the T2 Navy that Cascade had not been producing, providing he does a little bit of micro, he should win this. That said, of course, there are now a couple of destroyers in there from Cascade. We'll have to see how it goes. Battle here at the front, just T1. Even if this pushes through, there's so many engineers here and they can see it. They're just going to be able to put up a PD wall. It's only Tech 1. That's basically inconsequential. I feel what really matters here is this air engage. And nice little pickup there. 2 ASF sacrificed, I feel. Oh, and nice. The cruisers over here. This is going to start and rebalance some of the air. That's actually really bad for Spiky Noob. I'm not sure how many aircraft he lost there, but taking a look at the kills on these cruisers, potentially 10 Tech 3 aircraft there down from Spiky Noob, which at minute 18 is quite a lot. What's the score here? 30 ASF versus 26. So actually Team 2 on paper now in the lead air-wise. In no small part, that's down to Vinyl there. A, soaking up the damage with those strats, and B, somehow able to continue making Navy, especially these cruisers. Again, don't forget, guys, Vinyl of 1400 against a 1700 rated player, despite eating all that shit, is on top of the Navy game, it would seem, at least for now. And with this side island, we'll have to see if that continues. Vinyl did good with the cruisers. He certainly did. He certainly did. Without those cruisers, I feel that this game I'd be almost ready to call it. Speaking of which, let's have a look now on the mass income side of things. Cascade, surely not on 500. Oh yeah, okay, correction, he's controlling 2 bases. So Cascade up to 500. Excelsior at 360. Nancy over 400. And then Vinyl down to 175. I'll tell you what, We know he ate all those strats. I have never seen a player so low on mass punch so above his weight with the Navy. Now, yeah, granted, he's got NGs in here reclaiming, but he's the lowest rated player in the game. He's certainly not playing like the lowest rated player. If he can get a couple of shield boats in though, oh, he's got one, there we go. That's going to help us defend his area, of course. Seraphim Navy with the beam weapons, they never fucking miss. Granted, they're a little bit nerfed on the range, but they never miss. So, yeah, your UEF, you really got to make use of the shields there. Of course, I say they never miss. That's providing they get into range. And there we see it, they're in range. So, yeah, shield boat absolutely essential in this gauge. This engagement here is huge. Vinyl versus Cascade. Huge advantage for Vinyl if he wins is it's right on his doorstep. He's going to be able to reclaim that super quick. Problem is, if he loses, it's right on his doorstep. It's going to be all but over. Now, this is super cheeky here from Terraria, sending NGs in to reclaim. He knows Vinyl at all those strats. He knows that if Vinyl don't win this, he's out the game. I think to come in reclaiming is very, very cheeky there from Terrari. Very cheeky. Now, we did see somebody somewhere with an experimental, and here it is. It's Cascade, the 1700. Well, that's going to go some way to explaining why he didn't roll with Navy. He was working on a GC. Minute 22 a GC. That's very nice. I'll have to see if we can get it out front. He's now working on the strategic missile launcher on the front base, no less. That's very, very cheeky indeed. This Navy fight, these torpedo bombers here from Vinyl, very nice indeed. Problem is his mate going to defend him? Terrari, you've got to get your air in. Vinyl needs to win this engage. You can see Spiky Noob hovering with his ASF, not committing. Now here we see the fight is starting to go Cascade's way, and if it weren't for these torp bombers, it would already be over. This all comes down to, and I'm going to guess now there, Vinyl's going to be very pleased that Cascade killed off those NGs from Terrari that were just there to pinch the mass. NGs here, Monkey Lord against GC. Of course, the GC with its own onboard Omni is going to be able to engage the Monkey Lord even though it's outside the visual. And now they're in visual. Ping's going down. This is only going to go one way. Aurora's coming in and all, making a bad situation worse for the ML. And to add insult to injury, the GC goes and gets some vet after killing the Monkey Lord. About a third of the health left. This is now going to be very difficult to stop. Celsius trying to rush an ML now. If he can get this ML online before this shit arrives, he's going to have a chance, and it's going to be close. It depends if he's got the eco. And he's clearly stalling, and he needs to be asking, give mass. There's the request. Give mass, give mass. And it all comes down. Can he get the mass on time? Oh, GC running away from Cascade. It feels like it's not going to matter now. And potentially, that is a shit ton of Tech 2 destroyers. I'm going to guess that's why he's running away with the GC. That is going to keep Team 2 in the game. We've got yet more torp bombers here from Vinyl. Going after the T2 cruisers. He gets them. Unfortunately, he's got basically naught left. Very, very sad. Wow, Vinyl, I really, really feel that you were doing incredibly, incredibly well. Punching way above your weight there for a while. You had the strats to contend with early on that killed so much of your eco. I'm convinced if those strats hadn't taken out, what was it, total 5-6 of Tech 2 capped off mechs, he would have been able to stay in the fight with the Navy. And unfortunately, I just don't think he had the eco. Against a guy that's got 2 bases, that's 300 rating points above, it was never happening, was it? And at this point, I feel like Vinyl's basically... he's going to die a death, and it's just a matter of, is it going to take 2 minutes or 3? And that's a very, very demoralizing position to be in. Basically, you want to throw in the towel at this point. I mean, I say you want to. If this was me, I'd walk my ACU out of the base. As soon as I was out of the blast radius, throw in the towel. I mean, the problem is we're getting critical mass here on the cruisers. There's just no way in, you see. Cascade's doing the only thing he needs to do now, and that's just dump more and more cruisers in. He's going to be able to pick apart the entire northwestern coast here for Team 2. Team 2 is screwed. Now, that said, despite all the Tech 2 destroyers here, we got our first battleship rolling in now from the north side. We do got a battleship on the south side. Unbelievable, a nuke's already out the door. Was that nuke from the front? It is. Cascade here, the 1700, playing like he's played this game once or twice before, lobbing in a nuke. Now, where's that nuke going? I reckon it's going to wipe out... Oh, dear. If he wipes out that naval base here for Team 2, Excelsior's entire ability to produce, the outcome of this battle is going to mean nothing. And looks like that's exactly what he's going for. Bang! He's going to be lucky if he hangs on to that battleship. And I think he is. Taken, very interesting, 501 hit points. Not 500, 501. I think incredibly lucky to hang on to the T3 Naval HQ. Only losing 2 of his core mechs and 1 naval fac. I think that went incredibly well for Excelsior. I am going to imagine that seeing that nuke inbound for his base, he thinks, I got away with that one. If the nuke had been planted there and taken out all 3 of these naval yards, the outcome of this battle wouldn't have mattered, because that would have been the only ships he'd have had left. He's got, what's this, a T2, a T1 that's going T2, his HQ at T3. He's got torp bombers coming in. I just feel probably one of the worst nukes I've ever seen. Bad situation getting worse here on the north side. I mean, you gotta feel bad for Vinyl. He was picked on with the strat bombers. He was already the weakest guy in the game. He's now getting bullied in by a guy that's got 2 bases, who's 300 odd rating points ahead of him. He's just raining so many of these. Let's have a little count here. Cruisers. 31! That is a crime against humanity. 31 cruisers. If that don't make you want to throw in the towel, nothing ever will. There's nothing you can do about that. There's just nothing. The entire... just nothing's gonna get... just... yeah. And you can see that's the only unit he's building. Cruiser, cruiser, cruiser. Don't forget, guys, in addition to the massive range on the missiles, these are just walking SAM sites. Now, if this were me and I was Cascader, I would set all these cruisers on a little patrol back and forth here. That's going to create this impenetrable air defense line. And even if some get picked off, because you've got them on a patrol, the air defenses are going to continuously replenish themselves when the ships just move along in the patrol. Sounds like we got Chicken Bot getting excited. Here he comes. Chicken Bot together with a damaged GC going up against a solitary ML here. Shield going up. Ah. Oh, we got broadswords though. The broadswords on the Chicken Bot, they are going to kill the Chicken Bot. That's going to go boom. And with the Ion Storm, he may even get the GC. If the gunships give chase to the GC, together with that Iron Storm, they may just get it. It's very close to the drink though, but we'll have to see. Looks like Air Force, the only thing keeping Team 2 in right now. The problem is there's so many... yeah. And alas, are they able to get it? Well, his head's... They're hanging around. And electing now to run away. And yeah, once again, not so good here. Just a handful. Oh, shoot. Excelsior going down. Apologies, guys. I missed the Strat Bomber rush there. Very nice from Spiky Noob. Showing why Cybran is lethal. You've got your... It's not just about having the strats. They've got the stealth. Makes the radar useless until they're inside Omni range. And Omni, of course, having a very short range at which they're able to see through the stealth. Nancy pushing through now with a shit ton of battleships. Oh my goodness, how did these guys all of a sudden pitch up? I genuinely thought that with that nuke there, only taking out one of the Navy facts. Oh my goodness. Vinyl going down. I mean, that was only ever going to happen. Credit to Vinyl for even lasting a minute or two longer than we initially thought. Really, really well done, Vinyl. I feel that really, considering that you were the weakest player in the game, I felt you played the best. You punched way above your weight. Granted, you were never going to take out a 2100 rated player, but for your rating, really, really props to Vinyl 117. I don't think there's many people that can disagree with that. I felt you were bullied and picked on right from the off. And now we can see these battleships here. Well, just a bad situation getting worse now. Question is, Terrari, the highest rated player in the game, 2100 rated, is he going to be able to 3v1 this? Now, alright, it's a lost cause here and here, but he's going to have... well, he's certainly not got the eco. The question is, does he got the rest? Now, I'm surprised not to see... oh my goodness! Nancy, how are you able to just pump out 1 million of these? It's like Aeon Tech 3 Navy, just cheap as shit to build. Because I remember the other day just watching how the health bars on aircraft carriers were flying up. Granted, there's only like 5 NGs assisting. But yeah, with this, I mean, the South Drink, even if you were able to knock these out with Torp Bombers, with Cascade in the drink now with his Seraphim, no doubt. Yeah, look at this. Cruisers, 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 cruisers. All day, Cascade has basically locked everything down. Alright then, Terrari. Well, get your hat ready and put your hand in it, because you're going to have to pull a rabbit out. And somewhat sharpish is a little ambitious here with the Mavor. But if he does manage to pull it off, I mean, it's a standoff weapon. It's 1800 out of 8,000. We're now up to 1900. And so, actually, if he can continue building that at that rate, now it's now 2,000 into the yellow, 25% done. We'll have to see if he can get that thing online and just have everybody else pissing into the wind with the Navy that they've already won, dumping eco into stuff that they can't progress anymore. The only one who could is Cybran, and as far as I'm aware, Cybran has got no naval presence in for Team 1 whatsoever. They're just Seraphim and Aeon. And of course, even then, it's only the walking destroyer. Massive air engage, meanwhile, here on the south side. And Terrari with 140 ASF. Spiky Noob with 140, but that was after the fact, so this air engage should go for Team 1. Oh, it's an arse washer coming in. It gets primaried. Bomb misses, gets shot down, and you can see there Spiky Noob pissed off. I would be too. Bomber for naught. Terrari's got to be counting his luck there, and not only that, he's got 38,000 mass right on his doorstep. A shit ton of ASF Rex. 100, 200, 400, 500 each. And that's going to help him get that Mavor built, if nothing else will. Granted, this little air grid's going to go down to the oncoming. Mind you, the Yathota here, the chicken bot, is about 25% health. I'm thinking he might get it. Granted, the broadswords are going to go down for the trouble. Oh, as if. As if. Cascade with the next experimental. What is it? Is it a chicken? Alright, he built it. He's handed it right on over to Spiky Noob. It's another Arsewasher experimental bomber of the Tech 4 variety. What else? Yeah. Very nice to see, though, building the labs, trying to tie up the long-range naval gunfire, and very effective indeed. You can see Spiky Noob, more of the same, leading with his air screen, trying to tie up Terrari's air force, allowing the bomber in unimpeded. He desperately needs to get more SAM sites on the go. Spy planes in. And there it is. Does he get a bomb off this time? And indeed, what's he shooting at? Oh, the wreck. Oh, it's Terrari's ACU. Terrari's ACU takes one to the face. Thank goodness for his shield. Is he going to get back in time? Experimental bomber, about 2/3 health. Electing not to continue pursuing the ACU. Instead, drops one on the shield. We've got yet more strats in from Cascade. Oh, shit. Terrari's base just took one. We see here the experimental, the SACUs there, desperately trying to get a shield on. They screw up. Terrari's not giving up. He's going for Tech 2. He should have really gone for Tech 2 all along. Does manage to get him on in time. Shield, shield, shield. Oh my goodness, now Tech 3 raining artillery in. Well, I felt, despite the game going on for 37 minutes, it felt like it went far quicker. It felt like, frankly, it was a little bit of a steamroll. Yeah, aside from the first ACU going down for Team 2, everything else going Team 1 way. Cascade, deadly in the Navy. I feel that the way that Cascade there won that naval, but just the rate at which he was able to pump out those Tech 2 cruisers was horrific. It was a war crime, was that. Jumping over into the other pond, getting cruisers down here, supplying air cover, allowing his pal here just a one-trick pony there with his Tech 3 Omen class. That clears out this coastline, and then all that was left was the formality of all those guys. Of course, Cascade as well was then pumping out the Tech 4 experimental bombers, handing it over to the air guy. And with that said and done, the only thing left really was to pick the base apart down there for Terrari. And then, to add insult to injury, we get this little Buer online, surrounded with energy. And guys, when you're in the heat of the moment, it can be quite difficult. Even though you realize, oh, I've not got air, and they've got Navy here, and they've got Navy there. When you're really completely task saturated, especially like this, a 1v3 kind of a situation, it's not always obvious that you've lost. And you may think, well, it should be. It isn't. And the reason is, you've not got time to zoom out on the map and objectively study, yeah, I'm fucked. You're focused on your little thing, and you're thinking, right, I've got to do this, got to try and increase air cover, get more ASF out. Oh, look, there's something coming, I'll deal with that. And meanwhile, I'm working on the Maver, and as soon as I get this Maver on, they're going to have a problem. And, like, that is your mindset. And you can't really think much deeper than that, because, again, everything else is tied up in APM and micro. And, yeah, and so, really, until it's like 20-30 seconds from the end when you've got multiple shields collapsing, your base has gone down, you've got umpteen strats over your head as well as an Arsewasher, and Tech 3 arty raining in. at some point there, it's going to start and dawn on you. Shit, things don't look too good. But, you know, we're still trying. Shield, shield, shield. Get under there. If I can get under there, keep the progress going on the Maver. May have a chance, even though us viewing are thinking, yeah, you may have a chance if you're asleep. All right, until next time, I hope everybody's doing well. Take care. Bye-bye.